All right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez here of the GSMC Wrestling Podcast. Our first segment, if you missed it, we talked about our WWE SmackDown preview. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. I upload different, separate segments. So make sure you catch into that. WWE SmackDown is airing live right now. It's already aired on the East Coast, but I have not watched a single shred of content in terms of TikTok, Facebook, Twitter /X or Instagram. So, we're kind of in this together, guys. We're in this together totally. So, yeah. But before we move on any further, I want to remind you guys to use that tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your questions. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you guys want to discuss in terms of wrestling, kind of fandom we have here. Obviously, I kind of have my segments lined up. But if you have something more you want to talk about, give me your questions. We will talk. I will address your name. There's no such thing, as a bad, chat or a bad question or anything like that. So make sure, don't be shy. Don't be shy to share your Wrestling Laureate Podcast, and we ultimately love viewers. We love, the feedback, different perspectives, especially in terms of sports. That's what kind of, feeds off of sports. That's what makes a sports show really, really do well, in my opinion, is kind of ultimately like having a topic that we say and address that can be debatable. That could be absolutely debatable. So I don't know. I feel like if it's the podcast and people just like you have a bunch of yes men and a bunch of I agree with you, you're doing so good. Like, yeah, that's cool. Like, throw some flowers here and there. We don't dispute that. But ultimately, kind of love to hear like Eric, like what are you talking about? That's so dumb. That what are you talking about, bro? Don't use dumb. Dumb is such a harsh word. I'm just kidding. No, I can handle it. I can handle it. So, all right. Moving on to our Thursday night wrestling review. We're going to talk about the TNA Impact 20 years of Impact TV tonight on the show, featuring 2 title matches, of course, on the road to next month's against all odds. So, this week's show was aired on TNA Plus, also in addition to Access TV. So let's go ahead and dig right on into it. Hell yeah. So we had Jake Something. Jake Something defeated Khan, which was kind of amazing to me because Jake Something and Khan's a freak. Khan's a freak. He's a big strapping guy. Although he was manhandled by the TNA Knockouts. See, like we had Jordynne Grace, the TNA Knockouts champion, go over to WWE NXT. Now I want to be WWE NXT feature Jordynne Grace. Like now her name is kind of synonymous with WWE. So don't blame me on that. Don't you dare. So he had the TNA Knockouts champion like slam Connor down with her mixed tag team match where she was teaming with PCO and it was her against Khan and Stephanie Launder. But ultimately, like I keep reiterating on this podcast, that Jake Something is going to be something. Jake Something is going to be something. That kind of sounds like a boomer voice. I don't know if any of you guys watch the fastest 3 minutes with Boomer. Love it on the Monday Night Football you know on the segment. Okay, moving on. Moving on. We'll talk about football more later. Just kidding. This is a wrestling podcast. If you want to talk football, you go see Kenneth or my man Manny on the Chip Shot Football Podcast. Yeah. So, like I said, Jake Something obviously really, really impressive. He's whenever he goes out to the ring, he's always 1,010% all business. And until the bell rings from the start of the match, he goes until the bell rings at the end of the match. So you got to really respect that from Jake Something there. Next, we see Eric Young. Eric Young. I remember when he was just this. When don't fire Eric Young. When he was on the TNA back when TNA was kind of a little more, prestige. But he went down to the well, not down, not down. He went to WWE NXT, and I forgot his. Oh man, I forgot his group. I forgot his faction. Man, I can't believe it. Sorry, excuse me. I can't believe I forgot that faction. It's gonna bother me all night. I'm gonna have to Google it during the break, and I will let you guys know. Um, so Eric Young, probably one of the TNA, Impact wrestlers that he's been with. He's been wrestling with TNA Impact since he was 20 years old. 20 years later, obviously now he's 40. The moment he went out there, the fans showed him the ultimate utmost respect, chanting TNA, TNA, TNA. And that's, he was part of the TNA, renaissance. He was part of a movement that TNA kind of wanted to ultimately be. But, what we're going to get into later on in this show, my segment 4, we're going to talk about the downfall of TNA. But I feel like out of all the wrestlers there, I feel like Eric Young just cared more. I feel like he was really sincere with the company. He was absolutely heartbroken when the company couldn't make quota, when they were running out of ratings, when they got off Spike TV, and there was nobody out there to kind of pick up TNA. But Eric Young, as enthusiastic and as charismatic as he is, lifted up the locker room. He did something that a lot of wrestlers could not do. Let's get a locker room on his back, talk about the positives, dispute the negatives, and ultimately gather these superstars to try to build up a company that is not dead yet. So something that I absolutely admire from Eric Young was his ability to kind of go to TNA, go to NXT, kind of be part of the WWE thing. He was featured on the main roster once again. WWE created, absolutely destroyed the stable that I will Google because it's built bothering the hell out of me. But he went to TNA. He went back to TNA, went back to the thing he loved the most, and he's trying to revive it. He's trying to do his best, much like a lot of these superstars are trying to do. They do not, there could be that possible partnership with WWE, but you don't want to constantly be banking on like, oh, we're gonna get saved financially because WWE is gonna help us out. And I feel like that kind of hurts the company. It kind of really does hurt the company because as a wrestling, organization, you kind of need to have the backbone of your company basically on what the superstars have to produce every show. And TNA Impact, if you pay attention, if you actually watch Impact on Access TV, they put on good darn shows. They put on good matches. The champions are incredible. Absolutely. Mustafa Ali is absolutely incredible. Moose is absolutely incredible. Jordynne Grace is absolutely incredible. That's why she's featured, and that's why WWE wants her. I feel like there's a lot of TNA superstars that WWE would love to get their hands on, but obviously, kind of crazy, kind of crazy. So yeah. Next we see Giselle Shaw defeat Shauna McKenzie. Giselle Shaw recently made she made her way back to TNA Impact, and she looked very impressive. She looked very impressive. Definitely going to be, probably the next one. I don't know if she's going to issue, she's going to answer that open challenge from Jordynne Grace's TNA Knockouts World Championship match at Against All Odds. Should be pretty darn interesting. Next, we see Speedball Mountain defeat Mustafa Ali and Campaign Singh. Love that. Love that. I did not want to hear Speedball Mountain losing to Mustafa Ali, the X Division champion, and Campaign Singh. I love Speedball Mountain. I think, it would be so crazy if they go to WWE NXT and challenge Axiom and Nathan Frazier. That'd be insane. That'd be so freaking cool. Would absolutely love that. With Speedball Mountain, oh God, amazing. Simply amazing. Mike Bailey, my man. Trent Seven, my man. So, not biased. I don't, just love Speedball Mountain of TNA. It's just, Jordynne Grace defeated her, her challenger, Allysin Kay, to retain the TNA Knockouts Championship. And I don't know. You saw Ash by Elegance come out, and kind of she could also be another person to kind of challenge for Jordynne Grace's TNA Knockouts Championship. But the Juggernaut Jordynne Grace made her way to the ring. No challenger could get in her path. Immediately, she absolutely produced dividends, and she's going to challenge Roxanne Perez this Saturday. Yes, this Saturday. No, this Sunday at WWE NXT Battleground happening at the UFC Apex Center. So make sure you check into that. So yeah, honestly, pretty darn cool. And another, last thing we're gonna talk about AJ Francis. AJ Francis, he's way over with the crowd right now. He's way over. I see him on social media. I see a lot of people absolutely raving against this guy. AJ Francis defeated Laredo Kid to become the new TNA Digital Media Champion. So obviously got to throw flowers for him. We got Nick Nemeth defeat Frankie Kazarian. Kind of saw that coming. I feel like we should build up feel like we should build up Nick Nemeth, especially with this potential partnership between TNA and WWE, because Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler was amazing in WWE. You just had, a couple of, you know, two-bit, writers trying to like be like, oh, what are we gonna do? And like with I feel like he was done wrong. I just feel like he was done wrong. The Broken Man Hardy invites Moose to his Hardy compound, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome. Next week we have Danny Luna against Tasha Steelz to look forward to. Mike Santana against Zachary Wentz. Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth, the Nemeth brothers, against Ace Austin and Chris Bay. That's been kind of reeling lately. They've been kind of reeling lately in ABC. So I don't know. That's kind of crazy, kind of crazy. So we kind of like moved a little, kind of further past this segment, and I apologize, but let's go ahead and wrap this up. So we're going to talk about our Ring of Honor results from June 6th. We had Queen Aminata defeat Maserati. Marina Shafir defeated Amira. Kyle Fletcher once again, absolutely impressive. Defeated Dalton Castle to retain his Ring of Honor World Television Champion. The Infantry, Sean Dean, and Carly Bravo with Trish Adora defeated Jacoby Watts and Nick Comoroto. Ring of Honor Women's World TV Champion Billy Starks, which I kind of knew this would happen, defeated Zamaya on an improving ground match. The Dark Order, Evil Uno, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds with the negative one defeated the Iron Savages and Jack Jamison and Cole Carter, Griff Garrison, and Johnny TV with Taya Valkyria. So yeah, no, it was absolutely a Ring of Honor. Also, with its new partnership with AEW, is absolutely huge. You kind of see them having their Ring of Honor, kind of happen. I saw it happen after the Dynamite. So I don't know if that's what they're trying to do from now on, because for the longest time you did have Ring of Honor on Thursday, but now since they do not have to compete with AEW with this new partnership, this could possibly be a trend. You could see maybe New Japan Wrestling will have weekly shows featured after Rampage, after Collision or something like that on Saturday, Friday, or Wednesday possibly. But I don't know, Tony Khan right now, he's kind of gathering up all these wrestling promotions, and he's building up that library. For Warner Brothers Discovery, obviously the streaming service that has picked up AEW, they're going to launch a streaming service in the future, and it's going to be absolutely huge. It's going to be absolutely perfect, and I think it's necessary for the improvement, the development, and also the future of AEW, not just for the company, not just for the stars, but for the audience. Something that wrestling has always kind of been great is we had WCW, we had WWF/WWE. So sometimes when you weren't getting your satisfaction on one show, you would jump onto another. All wrestling fans want. I guarantee you, I'm probably speaking on behalf of 85% of people here listening on this podcast or all around the freaking world. I feel like all wrestling fans really want to do is just for all these wrestling promotions to just stop competing with each other. Just get along. We're professional wrestling. We'll love all your wrestling shows. Put them on different days of the week. That's awesome. Imagine oh, I'm going to have a nice glass of wine and some Italian food on Thursday watching Impact and then Ring of Honor. Oh, but then I got to worry about watching WWE. No, you don't have to, because it's on Friday and Monday. NXT's on Tuesday. And then obviously NWA Power is also on Tuesday as well. Which I think they should probably perhaps kind of move that, because I know WWE NXT is going to the CW as well in October, so it's going to be interesting to kind of see what they do in terms of that. Maybe air NWA Power a little earlier, maybe like around 3 o'clock. That'd be pretty cool, honestly. If I was with Billy Corgan, I'd be like, hey, Smashing Pumpkins guy, we should we go for a ride. I'm just kidding. Whoever's a Smashing Pumpkins fan, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Hey guys, do not go anywhere. We finished with our second segment, but our third segment, we're gonna have a little bit of fun, and we're gonna talk about my, which means it's gonna be absolutely subjective. It's gonna be absolutely biased. These are gonna be my top 10 finishers in wrestling. So hey, do not go anywhere.